Good evening, viewers, and this is your median episode of Land Matters, and I will be your host, Mamadou Koli, and we'll be discussing about land and land matters, and of course, land transaction and how to purchase, go buy your land documents. And this program will be having professionals, of course, that will be giving you advice on anything land related. And on this median episode, I have with me Satang Saho Jame, CEO of SNS Properties. And good evening, Madam Satang.
Good evening, ma'ams, and thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Satang. Now let's just go straight into the program. Satang, what is real estate?
Yes, thank you. Ma'ams, there is when generally we are defining real estate, it means anything that has to do with land, property, and investment in property, land buying, property management. It's a broad spectrum. But when we talk about real estate company in the Gambia, it has a different definition, because in the Gambia, when we are talking about real estate, it's a legally registered entity or legally registered company that deals in buying and selling of properties or land in the country. It can be land buying, developing the land or so. But in general, real estate can be me, you having a land or buying properties, flipping them, selling them again. We're also into real estate.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's a lay Gambian definition of real estate.
Yes.
However, when I walk into a real estate company, as a layman who has zero knowledge and idea, understanding of what real estate is, what are some of the details or things I should look out for?
Thank you, ma'am. Currently here we have so many companies in the Gambia that call themselves real estate companies. But when we talk about real estate, first the company should be registered with the Ministry of, with the Justice Department. It should be legally registered, and the company should also have its trade license display, because once a company is registered, it should have the registration displayed,
processed
at the entrance or anywhere, but it should be displayed. The trade license should also be accompanied with a trade license. So those are some of the things, if a customer walks in, that a customer should see. Some, they can be registered with the GCCI, with any other group, but they should be registered legally in the country.
With the Gambia government.
With the Gambia government.
Okay. So if I walk into a company equally, and I've of course seen clearly displayed the registration that you are seeing, but these things can be available.
Yes.
Readily available.
Yes.
But that is one thing of the company.
Yes.
But when it comes to equally buying the land, how do I know that this particular company is genuine? Because some people can have the license,
that's the tricky part,
get into a dubious activity.
That's
so how
the tricky
do I
part.
get to know that, well, this particular land I'm purchasing is clean?
Okay, it's very tricky, and it's sometimes very difficult for one to know. For us to for people or customers that are willing to buy land, moms, they need to know the kind of real estate companies that we are having in this country. You understand? This is based on, for me, how I divide them in categories. We have real estate companies that are just buying land and selling them. We have real estate companies and developers. You understand? The ones that are buying, building, and selling, because they are developing.
Those are called real estate developers.
The real estate developers. Then we also have real estate brokers. You understand? Those ones, they are having an office, they are registered, but they don't own
land.
They don't own. They are just mediators between companies that have the land and the customers.
So basically, they are just agents.
They are just agents.
For a layman to understand.
Yes, they are just agents. But I'm coming. There is another aspect, agents. They still call themselves real estate companies. They don't have land at all. This category of people also don't have land, but moms, they will come to other companies that have land. They sign an MOU with them, you understand, and then be selling their properties. So for example, if I am selling a particular land and I said, okay, I am selling it for 100,000, they will come, okay, we give it to them, let's just say at 75 or at 80. So any other price that they have, they can top it up and then sell it. You understand? So most of the times, all these real estate problems fall around this category. You understand?
So
but
basically, they are the problem makers.
yes, but coming back to the question, how can you know? Okay, if you should walk into a company and then you want to know whether the land that they're actually selling, whether it actually belongs to them. Moms, it's me or my colleagues, some will not like it, but I always, if you come, ask for our documentation.
But it's not about you and your colleagues, it's about the nation.
Yes, ask for the documentation we have for that land. You understand? Currently, physical planning has developed a system. Any land that you have, there is a coordinate system for it. So if you have that coordinate, you just put it in Google Map, it will show you the location of the land. You understand? So even if, for example, they don't come, if they request for that coordinate number, if I give it to them, if they know anyone at physical planning, they will just sit there and then they can locate the land. So if a customer still wants to know, moms, what I tell, come for yourself. If you understand documentation in the country, come, we will show you. If you don't, send your lawyer.
So you are basically advising the viewers there that if you walk into a real estate company, ask for the document of the particular land that you are purchasing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ask for the documentation. If you cannot, let your lawyer ask. Then normally for SNS properties, what we advise is let your lawyer write to us a formal request. It can be a walk-in letter that he can drop, or he can send a request through our email, our official emails. And then what we do is we will scan the documents, send it to them. We do that. We scan the documents at SNS and we'll send it to your lawyers. And then, or if you know anybody that is working at physical plan, some will do it. As my cousin Mungeli gave physical plan, we just said, okay, this is the coordinate, send it to him, he will verify. And then the other one is just don't go buy land. Okay, I'm na land Sarakunda you buy. Make sure you go and visit the land.
Yeah.
Moms, I always advise people visit the land, because for us at SNS Properties, what we do is all of our lands, we have a signboard. Any of our lands we are selling, we have a signboard at that particular land. So if you go in, all these things are things that customers tend to ignore, but they are very, very important. Because these lines, things that you ignore it, you cannot put a signboard on somebody's land and then the person not remove it there. Yeah. So these are things, that's why for us at SNS, we said, you must go for site visiting first. Is this the land that you want? Yes. Then we can go into business. So
basically you are saying if I walk into SNS or any other company, I should request for the land document, and I should equally request for coordinates of the particular land that I'm trying to purchase, and equally I should go and visit the particular place to see if there is a signboard stating that this is an SNS property.
Not technically at that exact, to be exact, but if you want to verify, if I did not show you the document, I can simply tell you the coordinate, and then you can verify from physical planning. You understand? Sometimes, okay, the land might be new at certain companies. They might not put a signboard yet, but you can still see they have demarcated it. You understand? But no matter what you do, just don't buy without them showing you anything.
At least something concrete.
Something concrete.
All right, that is very clear, viewers. But then still moving on, madam. Assuming that all these things are there, all these things have been provided for.
Yes.
I got convinced, and then I just made the payment. Payment is effected. So what next should I focus on?
I always tell people, always take your receipt. Anytime you made a payment, don't leave that company without a receipt. Don't leave the accountant's office without a receipt. That is the first thing. It's like this is your guarantee to say, okay, I have this. You understand? And I'm taking a case study of SNS because it's where I know. So at SNS, first, before you even pay your money, you're given a registration form. That registration forms entails all the details that we need to know about you. And even on that form, there is a section that is called, you need to fill it. It's mandatory. Your next of kin.
Next of kin, yeah.
That part we are very much particular about it. Your next of kin, and then your next of kin's contact. For example, even if your next of kin is a child, like for example, a man should buy, a next of kin is a child, you can put in bracket my son, my daughter, but you should put somebody's number there, like your wife or your mom or your somebody that is related to the child. You understand? All those things are things that we put in case for future purpose. So moms, if you buy, take your receipts first. Sometimes the agreement letter might be that very, some will say, okay, wait for at least 30 minutes while we prepare the sales agreement. Sales agreement, it might be 30 minutes or so. Some will say, okay, the sales agreement, why we just come for it tomorrow. The sales agreement is also important as the receipts. You understand? Some, if you pay cash, they give you completion of payment. Or even if it is a mortgage sales, they will still give you, at the end of the day, if you don't, completion of payment. Then moms, we come to the other part. That is the legal aspect of it. That is the documentation type, where you have the alicalo transfer. If it is a deed of conveyance, then you start processing it, talking to your lawyer. If it is also a deemed lease, if it is a lease, you also wait whilst, they're preparing your lease document. Yes, they start processing. But if it is a freehold, you have your alicalo, then physical planning, you take somebody from physical planning to go and take the coordinates. So because each plot must have that coordinate, that four-corner coordinate. You understand? So that's how the process is.
You've mentioned receipt.
Yes.
You've equally mentioned sales agreement.
Yes.
Which is which? And can I just take a sales agreement and not the receipt? Or can I take a receipt and ignore the sales agreement? Or should they both marry?
Oh, you should take all of them.
All of them.
All. Because the receipt is the amount you paid. And then the balance, if you should have a balance. The sales agreement states your name, you having a contract with, for example, SNS Real Estate, and then you, like the plot location, the size, the amount, you understand? Any prior agreement we have regarding that land before the sales, you understand? The amount we give it you, the duration it will take for you to complete payment. After payment, the kind of documentation you should even have. Sometimes, let's just say you will buy a land at one of our locations where we are not providing water and electricity. All that is in that agreement.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. So another location whereby we'll provide water and electricity, it is also in that agreement.
In the agreement.
You understand? Okay. So what if we should, we have an agreement and then we said we'll provide water and electricity. At the end of the day, you don't have a contract. How can you claim?
So basically an overview of everything that you were paying for.
Yes.
Clear. Now let's move on and let's take a step back. We actually do see scenarios where companies would be legally registered, having everything, intact, but still manage to scam their customers. All right. So how is this possible? And if a customer is in such situation,
yes,
what would you advise them?
Scam, it's a very powerful word, and how can I frame it? Moms, when we are talking about real estate, it's a very difficult or crazy industry, because first there are so many factors before actually coming to that particular scam. You see, when we are talking about scam, some companies that they customers are alleging that they have scammed me. It is not their fault. It is not scam that they are doing.
Okay.
It is they buy the land legally, paid for everything. Moms, even paid for capital gain tax, which real estate companies are exempted of. But the people or the community that they buy the land from did not pay. The estate companies pay. But somehow, either one particular person from the family has already sold that land and they did not know about it. Then problem comes in. Some of the real estate companies, they cannot come clean to their customers. You understand? Okay. My land is in trouble, my land is in problem. They will prefer other alternatives, dragging the customers, dragging. Moms, then it becomes a scam, because I paid for a land, I cannot get access to the land.
Exactly my point.
Yes, you understand? And then some of those some when we talk like there's so many factors. There is the part where the alikalos play, there is a part where the real estate play, there's even a part where some of the communities play a part in it. You understand?
All right.
And then the other aspect, from the beginning, I told you there are companies that are just agencies. They don't have land. They're just taking other estate companies their land and selling it. Mams, if you don't pay the estate companies, they take back their land. Meaning,
no land for you.
No land for you. Then you are scamming your customers.
Thank you very much, Satang, and thank you very much, viewers. This is what we have time for, and thank you so much, Satang, for your insight.
Yeah.
You've really, your contributions. I'm sure the viewers would definitely quite react positively to it. But then you can also join us, viewers, next week, where we also look into alcalos and of course real estate, and of course demarcation, documentation, and of course alkali transfers and so many other things with Satang, of course. So get on. But this is what we have time for, and I was your host, Mamun Koli. So have a great evening.
Thank you.